There's a soft side. If you run your business only on the hard side, your people may start behaving like robots and they may not enjoy the work because it's as if everything is being monitored. That's the first one. The second one is that, unfortunately, hard controls cannot cover everything. I've seen businesses where there are CCTV cameras everywhere, but people still steal from that business. I'm sure you know of this. The business is covered, CCTV cameras everywhere, but there are still instances of thefts and fraud going on in the business, despite all the CCTV cameras. So that's why you need a soft side, because they say the hard controls are for the mind, for the logical side. The logical side, that's what your hard controls are for. Your hard controls, your processes, your enablers, all those things are for the logical side of yourself and your employees. But if you only run your business based on hard controls, you end up having robots that just either work for you because of the money, but they're not enjoying their job. Where the human side of your structure comes from is from the soft side. And there are three components that make up your soft side. The first is leadership. You should not be surprised. Everything rises and falls on leadership. The first layer of the soft side of your structure is leadership. The second is people, the kind of people you are allowed to come into your business and work for you. And the third is the culture, how you behave, how people behave when they are in your business. The acceptable norms, the values that you share, the beliefs that you share. If you go to a company that has very good culture, even without the owner of the company being there, you hear things like, we don't do that kind of thing here. That is unacceptable here. Even without the owner of the business being there. What it means is that culture has taken roots. So culture is what monitors your business when you are not around. The job of a manager is the hard side. The manager will check, are you following the processes? Are you using the enablers? Are the controls in place? What are our KPIs? That's the job of a manager. That's what people go to business school to learn. If you're learning management, you are doing the hard side of the human beings, of the structure. Leadership, which is different from management, focuses on the soft side. Leadership is for the hearts of the people. The job of the structure is to protect the hearts and the minds of people. The hard side focuses on the mind. The soft side focuses on the heart. Leadership, people, and culture. Let me start with leadership. I mentioned this before. Human beings are social creatures. It doesn't matter. You might get a consultancy, maybe PwC, KPMG, any of them, to come and set up your controls for you, write your processes and all that. If the leadership is weak, if the leadership doesn't have strong values, if the leadership does not do what it says, you have just wasted money. Because your employees will look at you, no matter what so that's why in some businesses, when the boss is around, everything is working okay. Everybody's behaving themselves. Everybody's doing their job. The moment the boss leaves the office, everybody loses their mind. Your people are going to mirror you. Your people are going to mirror you. How you behave while you are in the business is exactly how your people are going to behave. So, like I was saying, leadership is very important because it is a core pillar. Leadership is a core pillar of your structure because everybody will be looking at the top. The tone at the top is what people are going to follow. So you can set up policies and processes and people may end up not following it because they feel the leadership is not serious about the hard side of the controls. So how can you make leadership work for you? There are certain ground rules. There's no leadership without values. If you don't set what your values are, then your leadership does not have any dimension. Your leadership doesn't have any dimension. What are values? Values are the things you will not compromise on. Values are the things you expect in yourself and all your people. So, and different businesses have different values. Some businesses will say one of our core values, you hear it as core values. That's why they call it core values. We will never compromise on these things. Anybody we hire has to have these values. Anybody you hire in your business has to have these values because the leadership will set the tone. One example of a value is proactiveness. I've seen one of my clients, that was one of the, because one thing I noticed when I'm setting up these things for people, I look at the values of the person. So it usually helps if Your business has grown and it's successful because of a couple of things that you did. So let's look at the values. What values helped you build this business to this level? So as I was interacting with him, one of the values I noticed in him was he's proactive. He doesn't wait to be told something before he does it. He uses his initiative. So somebody who uses his initiative without always waiting to be told what to do. So, and he gets irritated when he works with people who are not proactive. People who are always waiting to be told what to do. Even when they know what needs to be done, they wait for somebody to tell them. So I put it in there. Your first value is you need people who are proactive. People who can take ownership. People who think like entrepreneurs, not employees. So that's one value for his business. When he's hiring, he's looking for people who are proactive. During the interview, he's asking you, can you give me examples of times in your previous job where you were proactive? Give me examples. He's asking those questions because he's hiring according to the values. So proactiveness. Another one is excellence. We want people who will accept nothing but the best. Why? We're in a very competitive industry. We have big and strong competitors. My business is small. For our business to survive, we need people who perform well and people who thrive on excellence. They will accept nothing but the best. So excellence is one. Another one, integrity. So one example, I was working with somebody, he was like, we're going through that strategy session and I said, why do you think your business has grown this much? And he says, my customers trust me. I would rather die than lie to my customers. He said something like, my customers know that when I tell them the price, that's what it is. My customers know that when I tell them I'm going to deliver at this time, that's what it is. So I said, one of the reasons why your business is successful is that you have integrity. And he said, yes, I think that's it. So I put it down there. One of your core values is integrity. When he's hiring people, particularly for critical roles, like finance, like operations, like sales, he's looking for integrity. He's looking for people who will always speak the truth. Another core value I found in one other client is boldness. He said he doesn't like employees who only tell him what he wants to hear. He doesn't like people who are cowardly, people who cower, people who cannot speak their mind. He said he doesn't like people who speak their mind. That he likes people who can speak their mind so that he knows where the business stands. Because he believes that people who speak their mind, they speak the truth. On the flip side, there are people who don't like people who are too bold, who don't like employees who are too bold. Maybe they feel they have. So you really need to look at yourself. What values do you embody? Are you that kind of person who you're a bold person, you speak your mind, and you encourage and like people who speak their mind? Then one of your core values should be boldness. If something is not working in the company, I expect you to speak up. Why? One of our core values is boldness. When you are interviewing people to hire them, you need to pry, for instance, are you a bold person? Do you speak your mind? Or do you say something to the boss and say something behind? Right? So those kinds of people are like, I would prefer you say it to me than go and start rumors in the company or start gossips. I don't like gossiping. I'll prefer you say it to my face. So if you're that kind of person, it should be in there. What I'm talking about is leadership. Your leadership has to be guided by values, and everybody's values are different. Don't say timeliness. Don't add timeliness to your core values. If you know that by your nature, you don't show up early. If you know you're always late for meetings, for appointments or anything, don't put timeliness in your core value. You are going to be sabotaging your leadership. You are going to be making a mockery of your values and your leadership. So if you know you're not a timely person, just ignore it. But if you know you thrive on excellence, if you know you thrive on merit, if you know integrity is a strong pillar for you, if you know proactiveness is important for you, if you know a positive attitude to work is important to you, put it in there in your core values. Your core values will determine who you hire, who you fire, who you do business with. So that's it for leadership. Based on the explanations I've given you, I told you there are 3 components of the soft part of structure: leadership, people, and culture. I don't need to talk a lot about people anymore because, like I said, everything rises and falls on leadership. If you figure out the kind of leader that you are and the kind of values that you have, getting the right people is a difficult task. But if you know who you are, what you will accept, what you will not compromise on. Getting the right people is a bit easier.